Hey, what's good, y'all? It's your boy DJ Fanatic Beats, content contributor for LiveOffBeats.com. If you like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at DJ underscore PHANATIC underscore beats. That's DJ Fanatic Beats on Instagram, or Sounds for Producers on Instagram as well. So welcome to this video. It's a nice beat breakdown of an R&B beat that I did that came together quite well. Notice it's not too extravagant when you look at the piano roll and you see, just basically two loops and some really nice chords I came up with. So sometimes simplicity can be greatness, and I just wanted to break down every element that I use in this beat, and also any type of techniques or plugins that I use, so you can use them as well and advance on them and kind of create your own lane and just move a little further with certain things that I do in a video. And hopefully it inspires you to make something too, or just mellow out on the beat. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when you listen to another producer or you listen to some other type of music, it creates this mental state or like some type of feeling that you have to create something similar, but also in your own flavor. Because music, it definitely impacts everyone, even producers, even of course, artists and the listener. So anyway, it's all an exchange of energy. So let's start with the first thing I started with. It's a loop that I chose that I thought was kind of cool. Let's see. I think it's like a key loop, and I use halftime. So let's do it without any type of and I pitched it up. So I'm not gonna play at the regular pitch. Let's just play without plugins. So I started with this without any plugins. This is what it sounds like. And I really like the chords there. So obviously it's a set of chords. I usually like to start with chords with my beats, but sometimes I just go with melody. It doesn't really matter. Usually musicality kind of comes first for me because my musical background. It may also come first for you too. This way you're not locked in a box when you just do drums first and then you try to follow the drums. You can go either way. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but usually music comes first for me. And like when I say music, I'm saying like the melodies and stuff. So of course I added like some other things to change it up. When you're using loops, always just be creative and outside the box. If you notice, I did pitch it up. It's a quick way of pitching up a loop. You can use a time stretch. I change it to stretch mode, so that way it remains a regular pitch based on whenever you stretch it in a timeline. But I also pitched it up here in the pitch parameter. And you can go, let me copy this. You can go based on how many notes you want to go up. See the cents in the upper left and the hint panel here. So that's basically going up 100 cents is one note. So you get the idea there. And I'm going to paste the pitch parameter that I had prior. So with plugins, I actually use, I always start with EQ. I cut the lows at around 100. And then with halftime, I probably use half speed. This is the how many bars you want, basically length. And I leave this alone. And sometimes, almost every time, I mess with the mix level to get different effects. And also this effects level, this effects parameter too. I mess around with that. So this is what I came with the, this is prior again. That's without sound effects. And this is with. Sounds dope. So you get the idea with that. I was definitely happy with, this halftime gives you different things with different instruments. You don't need this, but it does help with certain creative elements. It added like a low, almost like a low guitar sound underneath it. And I thought that was kind of cool. So we already have two really dope layers, and it's pretty full by itself. I could play that all day. So, and here it is when the other chords start playing. So it's a real chill vibe, man. It's just a relaxing vibe. So then I started playing some chords over top of it. For that, I use, not so well known, is Expand. Expand is made by Air. I forgot what it stands for. Advanced. Here it is right here. Air. I wonder if they have a smart Air Music Technology. So anyway, you can look them up, but it's a pretty cool plugin. You can layer different sounds, and then you got effects parameters per sound. You can come up with some very unique stuff in here, and you have art mode, mono, play. Then you have some main smart knobs, and then within each sound or whatever, you can do some cool stuff in here. And I never use this. What is this? Oh, it's a quick way. Oh, these are presets. So if I selected one of them, it's like a preset of layered sounds. I rarely use that. Maybe I'll use that in the beat I'm making today. So the next thing I added, obviously, like I said, was some chords. So here you go. And notice this is like an R&B beat, obviously, and look at the tempo. It's like 95, so it's really slow and chill. These chords, I just came up with, just to complement the prior sound, so to add to it. And notice they're off the grid, they're really loose, and the velocity is all over the place. To do that real quick, you select A and Alt R, and that's the randomizer where you can control panning, velocity, all this stuff. So have fun with that. And that's probably pretty sure that's what I used to give it that random free-flowing effect, and it makes it more humanized. Next thing I added was, this sound was crazy. I actually had to favor it because I forgot I had it in there and listened to the beat prior. So anyway, it's the main melody over the chorus. So let me play it by itself. Nice. So with that sound was actually in Contact, and it's part of the output. It's analog strings, and it's the EDM Islands pluck. So I had to favorite that. That was dope. So I can use that in another beat. I just like how it bends and the pluckiness of it. I added reverb. If you notice an effects chain, cut the low, cut the bass, low cut. Dry levels up pretty high, wet levels up pretty high, and it's at a 5.5 second decay. So just to give it more space, and I wanted that melody to stand out. So here's the first three sounds. My bad, let me turn off the mastering. Okay, here you go. And notice in the chords, I kind of use these two little notes, that da, 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 and it's copying the melody. So sometimes you can play around musically like that. The next thing I added was like some strings. These are like low strings to give it a little more bedding, if you will, like behind the scenes. Just soft, like, so you get the idea with that. Next thing I used was a drum loop, and I kind of, with drum loops, you can be unique with them. You don't have to use them exactly how they are. Notice how I chop the hell out of these drums. I took pieces that I liked and created my own pattern. So you use a slice tool and set your snap to grid to whatever you're going to use. And let's say you got a loop and you're just going to cut little pieces, You know, you can actually get very intricate and spend all day on it, like I do sometimes, but you can cut it based on every beat if you want. You can do some really cool stuff within the piano roll where you're not using Slice X or any other type of sampling plugin. I think Serato Sample, you can do some cool stuff. But this is also a quick way of making your own drum loops, your own drum patterns within the piano roll. Is just using the cut slice tool and just slice it up and move these around the way you see fit. You see what I'm saying? So you can kind of come up with some really cool stuff there. So here, let me play with the drums. And also, you made it your own drum pattern through another loop here in the piano roll, but think about it audio wise, sonically. I also changed how they sounded just by boosting some sub and also some high mids. So let's play the drums by themselves without the EQ. Sounds weak, doesn't it? With the EQ. And I also notice it has like this reverb already in it. So you can do things that kind of take that out, but I didn't go that far. And also I could have used some other plugins to make it punchier, but I decided to keep it as is. As R&B, sometimes you want the drums to just sit in the pocket just right. So I made a executive decision, if you will, to keep it kind of not mellow, but just right for this type of beat. And last but not least, I used what did I use for the sub? I used, classic, 3X OSC. Basically, you can turn down this mix level, that mix level, and you use one of the oscillators for the bass. So it's basically, I use a sine wave, and you can create some real smooth basses with this. So let's play that by itself, man. Yeah, this plugin, don't sleep on the 3X OSC. You can actually underline this with certain synths and leads. You can get some really cool sounds out of this thing. Notice it bended a little bit, so you turn on porta and mono and turn up the slide to taste, so that way the notes can bend. So, and you can do that. And also in the effects chain, I went crazy and did all this stuff. So I have different pretty fast distortion. I use sausage fat, and I use the decapitator and a limiter to sidechain it to the drum loop, so that way the drums break through it and it gives the drums a little more space. So I use all these different plugins to get that sound. I was probably like really over the top with it, you know, when you want something perfect or you just keep messing around till you get it. That's probably what I did. I rarely use this many, but anyway, I got what I wanted in the end. So speaking of the end, let me play the beat so you feel a vibe, and hopefully you learned something in the video and you can use that towards your beats and towards your techniques. And towards the end, I just did a fade out. So let me play a little bit into the chorus and hopefully you like it. Notice it's not super confusing. Notice, that's what I was going to mention. Look at it. All you see is 6 tracks. We'll go to the mixer. All you see is 6 sounds. You see what I'm saying? And just a little bit of panning here. I didn't do too much, but it sounds like a lot more. A lot of times these hit songs don't have that much into it. Listen to them. I'm listening to these beats. I'm like, yo, I could have did that in my sleep. And that's not to knock the producer. It's just like sometimes we overthink stuff because we're producers. We're artists. We're artists with sound. And we're limiting ourselves by making a beat so full that not even an artist can hear themselves on it. You need space. Let it breathe. Just one to three melodies. I mean, depends how much you take them in and out, or how far back a certain sound is where you can barely hear it but you can feel it. Be a lot more mindful to, especially if you're making music for artists. Leave it open. And this beat, actually, I had to dumb my stuff down. I hate saying the term dumb my self down, because I don't want to make it sound dumb. Sometimes when you have less things in it, it's actually smarter. You know what I mean? Because you deliberately did that. And dumbing it down is the opposite of what it is. You know what I mean? It's actually a lot smarter, because you thought about that artist. You thought about making your song on the charts. You thought about getting that placement. You know what I'm saying? So that's a smart decision. That's not a dumb decision. And I had trouble with that for years. I still do struggle sometimes, because I hear so many melodies and I'm like, yo, another melody. And then before you know it, I have 7 melodies in the same beat. And I got 50 tracks, and I got 5 kicks, and I got 7 snares. You know what I'm saying? So don't go too far with it. Use the sounds and maximize their ability individually, and then you add a couple things, and you don't have to go crazy with melodies. Keep it limited but yet good at the same time. So it's a delicate balance you'll gain over time as a producer. So my bad, I just had to drop that on y'all, man. Hopefully I got to somebody. So anyway, here's the whole beat. Not the whole beat, but the intro into the verse and maybe the chorus. I feel for you to vibe out. See, nothing too crazy. Just chill right into it. Verse. Here's that space I was talking about. Come on, SZA. Come on, her. Wow, so you get the idea. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully I said something here that inspired you, or woke you up to something that you might have been sleeping on or forgot about or never knew. And hopefully you're inspired to make your own beat 10 times better in this, or just take whatever technique or whatever I said in this video and run with it. So again, it's your boy DJ Fanatic Beats, content contributor for LiveOffBeats.com. If you'd like to follow me, you can follow me at DJ Fanatic Beats on Instagram, or Sounds for Producers. Happy beat making today. Peace and love.